Hi. Today at Everything Explained in 5 minutes, we will explain the reason why Puerto Rico is part of the U.S. Puerto Rico, an island located in the Caribbean Sea, is a territory of the United States, but its relationship with the U.S. is unique and complex. Understanding why Puerto Rico is part of the United States and how this relationship functions requires a look at history, legal status, and current governance. Historical background. Puerto Rico became part of the United States as a result of the Spanish-American War in 1898. Before this, it had been a Spanish colony for over 400 years. The war, fought between the United States and Spain, ended with the Treaty of Paris, in which Spain ceded Puerto Rico, along with Guam, the Philippines, and Cuba, to the United States. From that point on, Puerto Rico became a U.S. territory. In 1900, the U.S. Congress passed the Farragut Act, establishing a civilian government on the island. However, Puerto Ricans were not yet U.S. citizens, and the island was governed much like a colony, with ultimate authority resting with the U.S. Congress. This changed in 1917 when the Jones Act was passed, granting U.S. citizenship to Puerto Ricans. The act also established a more autonomous government for Puerto Rico, though ultimate power remained with the United States. Legal status. Puerto Rico is classified as an unincorporated territory of the United States. This means that it belongs to, but is not fully part of, the U.S. Constitution. The legal framework for Puerto Rico's relationship with the United States is known as the Territorial Clause of the U.S. Constitution. This clause gives Congress the authority to manage territories, and it has led to a status where Puerto Rico has limited self-governance but remains under the sovereignty of the United States. Despite being U.S. citizens, Puerto Ricans cannot vote in presidential elections unless they reside in one of the 50 states or the District of Columbia. They do elect a resident commissioner who represents the island in the U.S. House of Representatives, but this official has limited voting power and cannot vote on the final passage of legislation. Furthermore, while Puerto Rico has its own constitution and governs its internal affairs, U.S. federal laws still apply on the island. Governance and economy. Puerto Rico's government operates similarly to that of a U.S. state, with executive, legislative, and judicial branches. The island has a governor, a legislature, comprised of a Senate and a House of Representatives, and a court system. However, because it is a territory, the U.S. federal government maintains considerable influence over Puerto Rican affairs. Economically, Puerto Rico has faced significant challenges. The island has struggled with high levels of debt, leading to the U.S. Congress establishing the Puerto Rico Oversight, Management, and Economic Stability Act, PROMESA, in 2016. This law created a federal oversight board to manage Puerto Rico's finances, underscoring the level of control the U.S. government maintains over the territory. Ongoing debates and status. The question of Puerto Rico's political status remains a contentious issue. Some Puerto Ricans advocate for statehood, which would grant the island full representation in Congress and the right to vote in presidential elections. Others favor maintaining the current territorial status or pursuing independence. Periodic referendums have been held to gauge public opinion, but no consensus has been reached, and any change in status would require approval from the U.S. Congress. Conclusion. Puerto Rico's status as a U.S. territory is rooted in its history as a Spanish colony that was transferred to the United States following the Spanish-American War. While Puerto Ricans are U.S. citizens and have a degree of self-governance, the island remains under U.S. sovereignty, with significant limitations on its political and economic autonomy. The future of Puerto Rico's relationship with the United States continues to be a topic of debate both on the island and in the broader American political landscape. This is Everything Explained in 5 minutes. I'm Ava, and this was the reason why Puerto Rico is a unincorporated territory.